after the last season just to find out what other people do. And then I realized that actually I have a lot of hours that I could make up to others. So we like slowly started to adding extra hours into the weekly training. And of course it's not that it's growing as the season goes on, but we definitely focus on like a longer endurance. And I think that allows me to also deal better with fatigue while racing.
G'day legends and welcome back to the Press Room Podcast presented by Zwift Legends, episode 121 and the fifth and final episode of our Watch the Femmes series here at the Tour de France Femmes. Back in the camper, this time in Luxembourg. It's raining outside, so you might hear a bit of pitter-patter in the background. But gee, it's been a special week, and I hope you've enjoyed all the episodes so far throughout the race that we've been bringing you. And gee, we've saved a very special one for last, and it of course is Kasia Niewadoma from Canyon SRAM. Now, Kasia, as we speak, today you'll be listening to this as the last stage, and Kasia Niewadoma is in the yellow jersey. She's staring down the barrel of winning the Tour de France Femmes. She's just got to hold on. The Alpe d'Huez stage is looming today. Now, let me tell you, first of all, on a normal day, going up Alpe d'Huez, racing up Alpe d'Huez, Demi Vollering versus Kasia Niewadoma, Demi would probably take 90 seconds to 2 minutes on any normal given day. But she's crashed. She's had a bit of an ego hit. Her team's not looking so good. Demi Vollering doesn't have the support she normally would. No Kopecky. And the yellow jersey, everyone. The yellow jersey on the final day gives you wings. Let me tell you, I reckon it gives you another 30 or 40 seconds up Kasia's sleeve. So let's see how she goes. Regardless, she's had a great year and a great tour. Now, one thing I'd tell you guys about Kasia Niewadoma. Now, she's one of my favourite cyclists across men's and women's. And the reason why is because she is a battler and she is a fighter. You know, she's been so close to huge victories. She's one of the best cyclists in the women's peloton for a long time, but what stopped her from winning so many races is she just doesn't have a big sprint or a kick at all. I think if you lined her numbers up with any of the women's peloton, she would be in the top 1 or 2, but if you don't have that punch, you can really take away your opportunities to take big victories and win from small groups, etc. But regardless of that, regardless of how close she's been and how many times she's been second and third, etc., she keeps turning up, she keeps bringing the spirit, and she keeps fighting. I just love that about her, and I've wanted to get her on the podcast for a long time. Now, probably about 2.5 years, and we've had almost everyone from Canyon SRAM on the team on the TPR podcast, but I've saved the ask for Kasia until now, because when you want to get the big guests, the big stars on the pod, you really only have one ask. You can't ask once and get told no, and then ask again, and then ask again. Once they say no, that's it. You don't want to pester them. And there's also timing the ask. The timing of the ask is critical. You've got to time it when the athletes are in a good mood, they're in a good bit of form, they've come off some race wins, they've had a bit of downtime to just rest and recover and all the normal sort of legacy media to pester them, and then you can get them maybe when they're a bit more relaxed and refreshed, rather than coming at them maybe when they're in a bad period of form and they've just crashed or they've been sick, etc. It's timing is everything. So I've saved this ask for a long time, hoping that I'd save it for a special moment like this, and whoa, it's come up very well because we've got her for the Tour de France Femmes, and she's in the yellow jersey going into the final stage. So I really hope you enjoy this episode. Kasia is a free spirit, super interesting, and in this ep, we chat about her season so far. She had the big breakthrough win, or sort of broke the drought that she had, about a 2-year road racing drought without a victory, despite so many podiums, when she won at Amstel Gold. And we talk about that and, how she dealt with that internal stress of being so close all the time. And we get Kasia's thoughts on that. We talk about the discussion of, in the Tour de France Femmes, what is worth more, a stage win or a GC podium? And one that she has a lot of weight to put on that, because she has been on the podium twice and is staring down the barrel of a third time. And what's worth more? I mean, what would you do? Would you prefer a stage win or a GC podium at the Tour? And then, of course, we finish with some fun questions at the end. And I even think we start with a bit of dessert talk, which, you know me, if I could, every time I would start with dessert. So I hope you enjoy it. Now, legends, we love Zwift. They're the reason why we're here. They've supported the TPR podcast from the start, and they've supported the Tour de France Femmes from the start as being the title sponsor of the race. Now, fun fact, my first Zwift ride back in 2016, my first Zwift ride was a London race. I was like, I'm signing up, like I said yesterday in the other rep. I just wanted to do the races, and I signed up for a London race, and guess which professional, and I've said this before, guess which professional rider was in that race? It was Mark Cavendish, the GOAT, my favourite men's cyclist. He was in that race. What other platform can you do that? There's plenty of other platforms out there that do e-cycling. No one's on them, especially not Mark Cavendish. So we love Zwift. Now, FE Sports as well. I said a few weeks ago that they had the Shocks product for swimming. You know, those the bone conducting things you can listen to while you're doing your training, and they've got the swimming one, which I thought was pretty impressive for how long you could listen to your music underwater. Pretty crazy. But for you runners out there, and that also includes me, go check my Strava. For you runners out there, there is a new version of the running set, the Open Run, I think they're called. They're coming out very soon. I'm not allowed to say what they are yet, but they're coming out within a fortnight. So look out for that if you want to upgrade. And finally, guys, Cycliq. Thanks to everyone that's been getting amongst them. You can check out the link of the product in this description. Use TPR10 or go to YouTube and watch my unboxing. Unbox it. You can see what it's like. Premium product. Legends, this is the final episode of our Watch the Femmes series here at the Tour de France Femmes. I hope you enjoyed every ep. You can listen to them anytime. They're not necessarily super topical about the tour, so there's plenty in there if you missed it. And Kasia Niewadoma, I'm so excited. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, nice to hear you too. At least it's not breaking up as for now.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Kasia, can you tell me what's a Polish dessert that Poland would be known for?
So I think that would be szarlotka, which is like a Polish version of apple pie.
Ah, Fadalot.
Yeah, it looks a little different in comparison to this classic apple pie, but I can maybe type it so you know how to Google
Yeah.
it.
I don't know because I want to see a picture. It actually reminds me of oh God, okay, I didn't spell it like that.
Okay.
Right. Mads Pedersen told me that the Danes have a similar dessert called apple or
Oh
something
yeah?
like that. Yeah. Except it's oh actually it's not similar at all, but they have it's like crumbled apple and and the crumble part, but it's in a cup and all of that stuff is at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Almost like
Interesting, like upside down in some ways.
yeah, exactly. Um, I'm looking at the photo now. Oh, but what makes it different to, I mean, that looks like an
Hmm.
apple pie.
I For the most part, I think that I don't know if you're what picture you're looking at, but Poland is known from like having a lot of apple orchards everywhere. So I feel like we just have we like to say that our apples are good and better than others.
Oh, I
And
see.
especially like those cakes usually are made by grandmas. So I
Uh-huh.
think that it also has like some sort of nostalgic note to what it tastes like.
Beautiful.
Maybe.
It looks hectic.
Yeah.
I love desserts. Now, Kasia, this season has been fantastic to watch for you, and I'm sure, and all of your fans of Canyon SRAM, and just fans of cycling, I think, in general. And it was really nice to
Yeah.
see it, that victory at Flesh. And I guess I just wanted to hear from you, how did you sort of, what did that win mean to you, and
Mhm.
how did you deal with? I'm sure it would have been a lot of internal pressure from yourself. over the last
Yeah.
to get that individual win?
To be honest, I think that I haven't been feeling much pressure to get that victory.
Mm.
Maybe I was just like more questioning if I'm still able to do that. It
Right.
wasn't about the pressure, but more of like, what am I missing that I'm not getting that victories and questioning that. I think that because I've been professional cyclist for over 10 years now. So in some
Yeah.
ways, through all the ups and downs as the career brings you, I kind of learn how to understand pressure or how not to feel it in some ways, because many times I would fall as a victim of that. So
Mm.
yeah, I think it was more about just like understanding what I was doing wrong during the races or maybe with my preparation.
Mm.
And definitely last year, because of the gravel world's victory, I got this fire back
Oh
inside me
yeah.
of like, damn, like I can actually win with Jamie Vollering when we go one on one. And then I started to analyze that maybe I waste too much energy before the finals, or maybe I underfuel. And definitely that was the thing that I carried in my mind throughout the winter time of like, okay, it's not that I'm weaker than my competitors, but maybe there are other factors that I overlook. So I think that that allowed me to kind of enter the season with a different mindset. And um, also maybe that's why I felt really disappointed after Strade Bianchi, because I felt like
Yeah.
I was working throughout the whole winter to get rid of the mistakes I was making during races. And I felt like in
Yeah.
Strade, I made the same mistake again of just like playing this weird gamble game with SD works and just letting one rider go and like not reacting quick enough and just like losing because I made a certain decision and not because I was weaker than somebody else. So
Yeah. Yeah.
in some ways that the disappointment then also gave me extra kick to like not repeat that again. So
Mm.
this year, I changed my preparations in a way that I went to Teide for training camp before the classic. So I had like extra time to just work mostly on reaction and my mental side of racing.
Wow. Wow, that's really fascinating. I find it really cool that your gravel world's victory, which I do a lot of work with the gravel
Yeah.
cycling in Australia here. So I love gravel cycling, and that's really cool that even on a different terrain, a
Yeah,
different
because
style of racing.
it was like, everyone was racing as an individual in some
Mm.
ways. Like,
Mm.
it's not that you had teams lined up in front of you and like protecting you or helping you in some ways. It was like everyone had to put the same amount of work.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was the main thing that I was like, okay, if we both like, if I was kind of thinking about Jamie mostly because she had such a dominant year, and I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, of course she is outstanding rider, super talented, but also she always had very strong team behind her.
Yes.
And
Yes.
also she was able to, we could see it during Tour of Flanders this year when actually they were not outnumbering other riders. They were
Mm.
the ones that had to do extra work, and it's not
Yes.
that in the final they were extremely strong. They were not in a group going to the finish line with us. So
Mm.
that like moments like this made you realize that okay, there is much more to racing than just like physical preparation, because I feel like women's cycling is on such a high level that a lot of riders have similar level, but then like
Mm.
it's maybe coming down to fueling or your teammates and like energy saving. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, awesome. That's so cool. I was thinking today, I wondered if when you go out for a ride on the gravel, if just a training ride or something, do you wear your World Championship kit all the time?
No, to be honest, at first I kind of, it's not that I felt embarrassed, but I felt a little shy wearing
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, this is like everyone knows me as a roadie, and like rainbow jersey is something I've been pursuing for years, and
Yeah.
to like have it on a like on your chest, it's something very special. So then I felt like it was kind of weird that I would just like broke in the rainbow jersey on a gravel road.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I sometimes put it on just for some Insta
Yeah.
posts or reels, but on very practically never. I feel like what maybe I would wear was if the rainbow jersey was like a t-shirt, because I feel like that's how I usually ride on the
Oh,
gravel, just very
yes.
comfortable.
Like a
And
button-up
that also
t-shirt.
that kind of would more allow me to like feel okay, I'm graveling, because I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
I take graveling as a free riding.
Yes. No, I'm with you too. Maybe like a world championship sort of flannel button-up shirt.
Yeah, that
That
also
would,
would be cool.
yeah, that would work actually. I don't mind that. Have Cassie,
Yeah.
have you seen the race in Western Australia called Seven gravel race?
Mm, was the one that Tiffany was racing?
That's right, yeah. It's going to be the World Championships in 2026.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, yeah. So all the
Wow, that's cool.
yeah, really cool. So we're getting very excited about that.
Yeah, I bet. That's
And
super nice.
yeah, super cool. So who knows? It's a long way to Australia, but if you do come over, I'm sure Tiffany will give you some tips
Yeah,
on the
that
course.
would be nice.
Yeah, yeah. Now you
Yeah,
also
you-
mentioned your so you made some changes to your maybe how you were racing, mental stuff as well. But did you make any changes to your training? Because just from watching you this year, you've looked even more dangerous on the steeper punchy stuff. Like you've always been one to attack, and but I don't know. It seems like this year when you did attack, they just seem
Mhm.
to make more of a difference, right?
To be honest, I definitely increased amount of hours I would spend on the bike.
Right.
Um, I think that I was maybe very cautious with my coach with my preparation, and there would be only like few blocks of training where actually we would do big endurance rides, and other than that we would just kind of keep it conservative. And I did a little research after the last season just to find out what other people do,
Mm.
and then I realized that actually I have a lot of hours that I could make up to others. So we like slowly started to adding extra hours into the weekly training, and of course it's not that it's growing as the season goes on, but we definitely focus on like a longer endurance, and I think that allows me to also deal better with fatigue while racing, that I just have a strong base now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, but when you say you were cautious with your training earlier on, well, why were you feeling that way, or why were you doing it that way?
Because I think that there were moments in my career where I would just like train so much and I would get overtrained. And to get
Ah,
out of the overtrained zone is a nightmare. It takes you forever because
yes.
your body is so destroyed that yeah, it's a long process. So in some ways, I think we wanted to avoid that, and maybe also we didn't see point of like doing a lot of hours when most of
Mm.
our races were around 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah,
But now also, yeah, everything is getting longer.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, no, that makes perfect sense. That's definitely something that I think a lot of riders um, battle, not even just professionals, but amateurs as well, with that fatigue of burning out and losing that love for cycling, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, and remember this episode, by the way, Kasia, this will be released during the Tour de France Femmes, and not
Right.
before. So it'll happen when the race is going on. But when we move towards chatting about the Tour de France Femmes, you've been on the podium twice now, which is amazing. I mean, what a cool thing to hang your hat on. But I imagine the stage win is something that you'd be really keen to get your hands on this year.
Yeah, for sure. I do definitely
I feel
wish
like
I could.
you're
I could. Mm-hmm.
I feel like you, if not just for you winning winning a stage, but like I feel like the whole cycling community would go crazy if you won. It would be like,
Yeah, that would
yeah,
be
it'd be
cool.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean that would be just a dream to win the stage and to get the yellow jersey.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I feel like maybe my eyes are on fourth stage, the one that is like part of Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
oh yes. Okay, interesting. I'm just looking at it now. The one that's got oh, so the first one out of Rotterdam, right?
Yeah, like the first three ones are flat,
Yeah,
and then we have the fourth stage starts in Valkenburg
Valkenburg.
and
Yeah.
finishes in Liège.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, that's 122 kilometers. Okay. Now, when you are looking at a stage to prepare for one, you've seen one that looks good for your capabilities. What is the preparation for you? Is it you go and ride the stage, or you go and ride the finale, or you just look at it on VeloViewer and Google Maps, or are you simulating certain climbs or in
Yeah,
Cycliq?
so we always do recon of the most important stages or stages we think that would be crucial.
Okay.
And then I definitely train accordingly. So we did recon of Tour de France in June, and I was just taking notes after each ride to like I was just sharing my sensations with my coach and like what I am missing or what I think that I would struggle with. And after that, we have like this year we actually had quite a lot of time, like over 7 weeks to focus on especially weaknesses, because that's what you want to improve.
Yes. Wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, and most of the efforts are kind of yeah, resembling what we will face during the race.
Mm. Do you, when you're in training, do you ever, if say you're doing a hard effort, uh, do you use like visualization? Like, do you visualize yourself, breaking away from the finale group or crossing the line? Do you do that?
Yeah, I definitely like think of crossing the line
Okay.
first,
Yeah.
or like when I'm on a climb, I'm just thinking very often about like my competitors especially, and like wanting to like dominate or to be the strongest, or like not to be distanced or dropped.
That's sick. Okay, I really like that. When I thought about my sporting, just amateur sporting stuff, if I was ever visualizing something, when I was training or even just when I'm on the way to the event, I usually play the same scene in my head. I just replay that same scene that I want to happen over and over again.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, it helps somehow, like it gives you the similarity of what's
mm,
coming.
yeah, absolutely. What do you think about the TT? Because there's that, I think it's stage three. There's two stages on that day, which would be really interesting. That TT 6Ks is like, that hurts 6Ks.
Yeah. I know, to be honest. It's like TTs, flat TTs are not my specialty.
Yeah,
So on one hand, I'm happy that it's very short, meaning
yeah,
there won't be like big gaps.
yeah,
On the other hand, I just wish I wish the TT looked different, like say you
yeah,
have, I don't know, 3Ks climb, or if they want to keep it short. But it's just super short. It's also funny day because we have this stage A and B. So I
yeah,
think it's gonna be just like busy day.
yeah, for sure. I guess the TT will definitely be I guess you'd still be warming up on the ergo, but if you're doing that, will you have do you have a playlist for your warm up?
Yeah, I have playlist on my phone on Spotify. It's not necessarily for the warm up, but like a playlist that, um, like let's say, starts me going. Something that
Oh,
puts
okay.
me into the right mindset.
Okay. Can you give us a song on that playlist?
One of the songs.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, it could be Forever from Totally Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs. It's a very long band name. I mean, it's the
It,
guy.
it's just called, is this song just called Forever?
Forever, yeah.
Totally by the what? Totally. Oh, here we go.
Totally
Yeah.
Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs.
I've got it. Really? All right.
Or like All Under One Roof, Raving by Jamie XX is also like one of the first songs I start warm up with.
Let's go. Okay. Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. We're going to build a TT playlist of all the writers' songs from
Nice.
that. That's awesome. Now,
Perfect.
the women's Tour de France has just oh wow, it's just done so much for the sport. Like it's just seemed to grow more and more each year, and GCN Plus a couple of years ago as well. At the same time, all those things did great
Yeah.
for women's cycling. But I wondered, you've done the first two Tour de France Femmes. What do you think the Tour de France Femmes needs to add to the race that it doesn't have now?
Ah, well, it's a good question. I think that probably what public wants, or also what maybe riders would want to see, is to have this race as the longest stage race in our calendar. So I don't know if like 3 weeks would happen for us. But like would be nice to have a 2 weeks Grand Tour, something we've
Yeah.
never done before.
Mm,
Giro was 10 days before, and then it like I think it got shortened to 8 days in the last 2 years, two editions. But to have a Grand Tour, like, okay, Tour de France Femmes is known as the biggest stage race in our calendar right now, so
yeah.
would be nice to just like have it iconic or longer or different from other stage races.
Yeah, okay. That's good. A little bit longer. Okay. I asked another writer this question last night, and they said they would like to see more stages, oh sorry, more countries bidding for the starts. So like for example, Rotterdam starting there for the first 3 days. Maybe in the future, we have a start in Hungary or something like that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not a big fan of that,
Yeah.
because it's like this year we have basically 4 stages away from France, and it's only 8 stages race.
Yes. Yeah. No, no. I feel it. And what do you think? What do you think the Tour de France Femmes will look like in 20 years' time, Cassia?
Wow, 20 years time, I do believe that we will have 3 weeks of racing. Um, I think, I don't know if it's good or not, but I do see it looking very similar to men's racing, to
Mm,
men's Tour de France.
mm,
Definitely more pro tour teams. Uh, I mean, it's all changing every year and growing. We have
yeah.
more World Tour teams, we have more riders on the team. So I do believe that everything will be just bigger.
Mm, for sure. When you think about when you first started cycling as a professional, Cassia, what are some of the things you can think of right away that are different about the sport now? From when you started to where it is now.
Actually, it's funny because when I started in 2014, everything was chilled. We had maybe two, three important races, but just racing was chilled. And I felt like, I don't know if it comes because once you age, you see things differently, but definitely everything is more professional now, more stressful. more demanding. And like when I started, I would go for one training camp a year on altitude and be like, wow, like I had 3 weeks in the mountains and it was a big deal. And now people live on altitude, you know, so now it's like racing to the camp, to from camp to racing. So it definitely occupies more time. Like you need to make bigger sacrifices than what you were making before,
Mm.
and you train longer. It's like before it was 2 3 hours max. Now it's like up to 6 7 hours. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's, and also just I think that the general atmosphere at races is different because everyone wants to win, everyone wants to get their opportunity, so the fight is from the start, where before we would like show up to a race and like have a nice start of the race, and there were maybe two teams that could win a bike race, so it was up to them when they want to start racing basically.
Yeah, yeah. Have you raced up? Well, not that you haven't definitely haven't raced up, I wouldn't have thought, but have you ridden up outdoors before?
I rode up Alpe d'Huez couple of weeks ago during our recon.
Oh,
That
and
was
what do
the
you
first
think?
time.
What do you think?
It's a very, very brutal climb, hard climb, but also super beautiful, to be
Yeah.
honest. Especially for the fans, it's gonna be really nice to be up there and like you can see a lot. And it's also cool to see different winners' names on the boards on each corner. So it's kind of like
Oh,
motivating to
yeah,
one
yeah.
day, you know, have your name hanging there.
Yeah. You know they do that at Strada Bianchi. If you win three, you get
Yeah,
a sector.
you get your sector, exactly.
I love that. That's so cool, eh?
Yeah, for real. Very
Uh,
special.
do you think where do you think is better to spectate on outdoors? Do you think it's better to be towards the top or in the middle or at the bottom?
Hmm. I mean, it's I don't know. I think top, like the last, the village where you enter the village is like 2Ks to go. So I
Yeah.
think that by this time the peloton will be exploded into pieces. So and also
Yeah.
riders will go slower, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And the climb before, I'm sure the climb before will probably be even harder.
Yeah. Oh man, that climb is super hard. Super
But
long and super hard. I think just the last two stages it will be a survival.
yeah, for sure. Now, speaking of survival, when you're doing these week-long stage races, uh, what keeps you sane and what drives you crazy during these races? It can be not necessarily the racing, but anything.
Mm, what keeps me sane? To be honest, during those long stage races, you get into the rhythm of like having very simple routine. You know, you just wake up, have food, leave for race, come back, massage, dinner, and sleep. So the routine is so simple that it keeps everything like it feels like time is flying faster.
Right.
I always I need to have my moment in the morning. I am not a person that wakes up and goes straight away to a breakfast and see all the people around me. I always travel with my own coffee kit so I can just brew my coffee in the room and just like have at least 10 minutes without talking to anyone or
Yeah.
interacting with anyone.
Yeah.
And then I think that just like the little moments to myself always help me then be energetic and full of energy for others, or just like in a zone.
Wow. Yeah. Very. I can understand. When you're not racing, you're at home. You've got all your own stuff. What is your ideal breakfast, Cassia? What does it look like? What would you love to have?
I love always like waking up to, of course, like I have first some water and then I make V60 and I have it with banana and a nut butter.
Oh,
Usually I go for almond butter.
yeah.
And once I'm done, I started preparing my omelet with avocado and pickled red onion. That's my new favorite combo.
Oh, I like that. And I really like the pre-breakfast, just the banana with the nut butter. I do that too.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
nice because it feels like your morning is, you don't rush your morning, and I like to take my time.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. No, that's good. And if you were going on a off-season trip, at the end of the season, you've got time to do what you'd like. Where would it be? Or what does your off-season trip look like? What would you do and where would you go?
Mm. So normally my road trip consists of just road tripping or going to places I've never been before and riding bike for fun. Just like, getting on a bike with friends and my husband and going super slow, but stopping whenever we want to stop, and just like kind of going back in time of like how I used to ride my bike as a kid. It
Okay.
wasn't about this, like how fast you go or like how much power you put into pedals, but more about like goofing around
Yeah.
and riding a dark with no lights, for example, just like feeling free.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's really good. And it reminds me, I've seen a little bit on social media, but of yourself and Taylor doing these sorts of rides. But I always wondered, where did you and Taylor meet?
We met during World Championships in Qatar in 2016. So at the bike race.
Really? Really? A Qatar?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Exotic. Kind of exotic.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, love it. Oh, cool. And oh, great. Yeah, well, that's thanks for answering that. That's cool. Um, Cassia, it was really, really nice to talk to you. Thanks for your time. And
Yeah. Thank you so much as
yeah,
well.
yeah. And hey, good luck with everything with the tour, and I hope it all goes really well.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks for next chat.
All right, legends, that's another episode of the Press Room Podcast, done and dusted. I hope you enjoyed this episode with Kasia Niewadoma, the superstar. Let's hope she can win the GC today, but if not, she's a legend and there's plenty of more wins coming for her, no doubt. And thanks to all our guests throughout the week and everyone who has listened. Make sure you follow the podcast on your Apple, your Spotify, wherever. And just a big thank you from me to you for listening. And yeah, we might take a quick break on the TPR pod, and we'll be back later on in the year for some more action. You know what's coming. I'll see you then.